In early 2008, I published my Creeks and Streams reverse engineer study. In it, I debunked 90% of the common misconceptions and myths that existed for over 30 years. The lead agent in charge of the Norjack case sent at least some of my work to FBI headquarters in Quantico, Virginia, for further review. The result was an acknowledgement that either the money did not arrive to Tina's bar alone, or that the very facts of this case were outright wrong. Carr and other enthusiasts chose to pursue the latter, but have thus far failed. I stated in the last video that the only way to solve this case is to resolve the Cooper paradox matrix. What exactly is the Cooper paradox matrix? And why has it dumbfounded so many for so long?
To make sure you're connected, the writing's on the wall. But if your mind's neglected, stumble you might fall, stumble you might fall. Stumble you might fall.
Once the money was discovered, those that already believed that Cooper had died felt the evidence was strong enough to conclude they were correct. Why else would the money be found except for him dying or losing the cash? This specious, rhetorical question seems to complete the mystery, and to this day, the FBI agrees. The only problem with this hasty conclusion is that it ignores the contrary evidence. If the money were found in Cooper's landing area, then the conclusion would at least be reasonable. Unfortunately for those ascribing this belief, the money was found well outside of Cooper's landing area. This is the first part of the Cooper paradox matrix. Cooper landed in this area here. But the money can only come from somewhere in this area. There is no possible way to resolve this evidence given the assumptions. In logic, when you have concurrent, mutually exclusive conclusions, it's known as a paradox. Pretty much everyone with some familiarity to the D.B. Cooper mystery has come up with some sort of solution to this paradox. I'm not going to get into those resolutions just yet. That will be in the next video. What I want to point out is the second paradox that 99% of people familiar with this case have completely ignored. When the money was discovered, it was found at the surface of the sand. Geologically speaking, this gives us an accurate range of when it got there. Professional opinion states less than a year. Logic would concur. The money was 18 inches above the identified 1974 dredge layer. The problem is that the condition of the money, and even more specifically, the condition of the rubber bands, would suggest the money had to get there quickly. You see, the money was rotted, but actually the serial numbers were visible. A lot of rot, but not much considering 8 years in the elements. The rubber bands are even more convincing. They were still intact and reportedly crumbled when handled. The fact that they were still even on the money is miraculous. But where the paradox comes in is that they'd need to be strong and vibrant enough to carry the cash down the Columbia River. Therefore, the disintegration of the rubber bands happened on the beach where the money was found, and not before. If this is missing you, let me spell it out. To simplify, much time passed on the one hand. On the other hand, little time passed. Another paradox. Once again, mutually exclusive conclusions that are happening concurrently. Time passes, but time can't pass. Combine these together and you get what I call the Cooper paradox matrix. In the next video, we'll discuss all the possible ways you can resolve logical paradoxes. I will talk further about how these paradoxes came about, and by the end, you will be surprised to find yourself totally equipped to resolve the Cooper paradox matrix through the lens of logic.